Okay, so everybody keep asking me if I am overclocking or if I have any type of hardware acceleration on my Raspberry Pi for the Nintendo 64 emulation. I do not. This is straight out of the box. Pull the Raspberry Pi 3 straight out the box, hook it up, put a brand new, here we go, put a brand new fresh copy of RetroPie on it. I did have issues with the Nintendo 64 emulation on 3.8. If you go online and look it up, you'll see that there's been issues with the version 3.8 running the 64 emulator. It will be very laggy and very drawn out. But back out of this, we're going to come into our RetroPie setup. Let's see, Raspberry config. Let's see, configure overclock on Pi. See, cannot be overclocked. Well, it can, but I do not have that option at this point in time through RetroPie. Where's that? Advanced options. Overscan, do not have overscan on. And memory split is at 256, the standard memory split that comes with the Raspberry Pi. So this is basic default settings. If you look at how my menu is set up, everything is on the left-hand side of the screen. When you go to update from 3.8, which everything's on this side, on the right side, go to RetroPie setup, as you can see, my menu here is different from 3.8. I have version 4.0, come down, update RetroPie setup script, run it. When it gets done, restart your system. Don't restart emulation station, restart the system, reboot it. If you have a dual boot machine like I do, I have Raspbian and RetroPie on it. You'll need to have it set up to where it boots into the command prompt. Type in emulation station to start your RetroPie. Again, I highly recommend that you dual boot your Pi. Put Raspbian on it. It does not take up a lot of space. I think it's like 2 gigabytes. It's not very big, and it gives you a desktop application to where you can get online and get your ROMs, get your BIOS files, tinker around with the RetroPie directories. It's a big time saver. You cut the middleman of having to keep running between your computer and your Pi board all the time. Again, the only issue that I've had with my RetroPie since I pulled it out the box is sound issue with the HDMI. It does not want to run the sound through the HDMI at boot up. I have to go into Kodi first. For some reason, I'm pretty sure this is a software issue. It's not a hardware issue. I have to boot up Kodi for it to recognize HDMI sound. After I do that, exit back into my RetroPie. The RetroPie will then pick up the HDMI for the sound as such. We'll go into Mario Kart 64. Again, you saw my specs, standard memory split, not overclocked. This is straight out of the box with a fresh copy of RetroPie version 4. No lag. See, when I was running 3.8, this would be running very slow. It would be very, very laggy. So as you can see, after updating to version 4, I do not have the lag issue. And we'll find one that's more graphic oriented. We'll use Turnpike. Oh. Also with version 3.8, I had the issue of the buttons not mapping out right. I couldn't do my jump for my glide, for my drifting. I was not able to do that, and the button mapping was messed up on it. So again, I highly recommend you keep your systems up to date with the current version of RetroPie. It takes a lot of bugs out. The known bugs at this time are issues with using the drivers for your Xbox 360 controllers, which I haven't had a chance to play around with because I don't have the USB cord. Yeah, sitting here trying to concentrate at the same time. Anyways, you see that I have not having any lag, no latency. The audio is perfect. I'm not having any issues with the emulation. Update 4.0. Other things are the Raspberry Pi 3 has the quad-core processor and GPU. If you're running a Raspberry Pi 2, you might not have as well of an emulation with the Nintendo 64. I know for a fact that without overclocking the Raspberry Pi 1 and 2, you won't be able to play the Raycast or the Dreamcast emulation. And for the Pi Zero, the Pi Zero only has half the computing power of the Raspberry Pi 1 and 2. So again, if you want to use the Nintendo 64 emulator, this is Raspberry Pi 3, straight out the box configuration with RetroPie 4.0.